Welcome to another edition of Your Impact Attack. That's right, it's Your Impact Attack. And you know what's better than Raw on Netflix is hearing two guys talk about TNA Wrestling. The VBC is back one more time for the new year. What is going on, everybody? I'm the V in the VBC, the vet Jamie Williams. With me, as always, my tag team partner, the B in the VBC, as Brandon reaches through the internet, the power of the internet, and bam, there he is, coming in, cleaning house, house of fire, and taking everybody out. Take this, WWE Raw. What's up, Brandon?
Not much, pal. Man, that was a weird way to open up Raw. Like,
Yeah,
not really a whole lot going on, just time fill.
yeah. Well, yeah, you gotta. There's always got to be a lot of self pleasuring and telling everybody that's on Netflix that Raw is on Netflix and how it's Netflix and everything, and it's got to be that. But we don't do that here.
Like the Red Hot Chili Peppers in California.
That's right. We have got to tell you that we are here on YouTube and Twitch and wherever else live. And we're going to talk about TNA with the C and the C in the VBC, which is the chat. And right now, the chat has not fully migrated over, disappointingly, from the Monday Night Raw watch along. So the only person that we have here right now, but what a person. Who is it, Brandon?
We got Liz in the house. What's up? Whoop, whoop.
All right, everybody else, make yourselves known if you're lurking. Now's the time to get shouted out and acknowledged. But yes, obviously the big news on everybody's mind is Monday Night Raw live on Netflix. As we're recording this is totally going on. I didn't catch any wrestling news or anything, but what about you, Brandon? Did you see anything recently that was a newsworthy item?
I mean, for us and our show, I think the thing I noticed was that AJ Francis re-signed with TNA, but that's really about it.
Okay. Yes, he did that video saying he could sign anywhere, and he signed with TNA. So there you go. Yeah, pretty good. Um, but yeah, so there's really nothing major that I heard. Um, Wrestle Kingdom was this week, uh, which has caused some interesting frictions because AEW had a co-branded show, the Wrestle Dynasty show, on the following night, which I saw something about one of the New Japan announcers being suspended indefinitely for anti AEW comments during the show, which sounds like a work to me, but nonetheless,
I would hope that's a work.
yeah. I mean, Chris Charlton, like I think he definitely knows his place, because he's a guy that came to announcing for just being like one of these nerds, that compile statistics and stuff, and a historian. He does not have a face for broadcast nor a voice for broadcast. So the fact that he's ended up as broadcast means, that I'm sure he's very grateful for the position that he has. So whatever he was doing, if he came out of pocket, I don't know. I didn't listen to the whole show, but I assume it was in character. So, but other than that, I didn't hear anything. So, except that it was the lowest attended Tokyo Dome Wrestle Kingdom ever, with like something in the neighborhood of the mid 20,000s there, which is still a good crowd for anything else. But when you consider that the dome can hold over 75, I think, and they haven't done that in maybe ever. But I'm just saying, like, it's normally higher than what they got. So that shows you the state of where New Japan is at, and what they're able to bring in as far as interest wise in their home country, and that also could be indicative of their relationship with AEW and how AEW and WWE have taken a lot of the people that, would have perhaps sold some tickets to that dome. But these days they just don't have the talent. And it's true of me as well, because I don't watch New Japan regularly at all anymore because they don't have people I want to watch anymore. So that's kind of a thing that's going on there, which is a good transition to talking about TNA. A roster full of people I don't want to watch? Let's talk about TNA, pal.
They got Moose, though.
I'm sure New Japan has one guy I would watch. So, yep, Liz canceled her New Japan World. It's like, what is the world coming to if you're canceling your New Japan Worlds? But yeah. So, anyway, that being said, I guess we don't have news. I did not get a question from Chris Winland. Did you?
Nope. No, sir.
So I guess we can just go right into the review portion. Let's not waste anybody's time. I'm sure you all want to get back and watch CM Punk take on Seth Rollins. So we're not going to hold you up. We're going to get through this. It's not a clip show. It's not a clip show. However, I bet we can do a shorter runtime than the episodes where we did have a clip show, because we talked about other things for those episodes for the majority of our runtime. But I bet even if we talk about this actual show in detail and do a punching up, we're still going to come in well under time because nothing happened. This show sucked. This show had more screen time dedicated to Ryan Ziegler than like all of his appearances previously combined. And it was mic time. So if anybody was tuning in for the new year to check out TNA, they may never come back. Ever. Seriously, ever. That's how bad it was. So, as we start with the Final Resolution ketchup packet.
White Castle, but I'm sure they use the Heinz brand.
Yeah, well, we don't deserve any better for Final Resolution from 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it's been. But we do need this because it's been so long with the clip shows and all. So Joe Hendry comes out to the ring and he does a promo talking about how this is going to, 2025 Genesis New Beginnings is going to be his year, yada, yada, yada. Then here comes Ryan Ziegler, the aforementioned Ryan Ziegler. He interrupts. He calls him a mid-carder. So let's pause right there. Ryan Ziegler calls Joe Hendry a mid-carder. Now, Brandon, where do you fall on him using the terminology in this promo of mid-carder? Is this over the line as far as like shouldn't say this stuff on TV, or is this something that an average person can understand? Obviously, we assume that anybody that cares to watch TNA is probably somewhat of an insider. They're familiar with insider terms, but in the grand scheme of things, would you call somebody a mid-carder like this? I'm not even talking about like in the sense of an insult. I mean, like, we're talking about using insider verbiage, right? So is this appropriate, or should he have gone another route?
It just seemed like unnecessary. Like he could have taken another shot at him where he didn't have to really go there.
Okay.
Like he could have insulted him a different way and gotten the same point across without having to use that specific terminology.
Yeah. He could have also brought up the fact that Joe Hendry has nothing to show for his, like no belts, no nothing, like none of his, whatever. But anyway,
he was digital media champion.
I mean, yeah. Who's the digital media champion right now?
DCO.
I forgot. So, but he does. I mean, Joe Hendry does address this. He says that if he's a mid carder, that would make Ryan the janitor, right? So he's saying that and then Joe Hendry actually, because he has that kind of power, because he's not a mid carder, he's actually basically another Santino, because he moves the match with Rhino versus Ryan up the card to right now, as opposed to later in the show. And then the match happens. Ryan Ziggler versus the Man Beast Rhino, not a Ziggler. And ding, ding, ding. And we have the match. What do you think of the match?
Could have went way shorter.
Well, it went however long it went. What, maybe 5-7 minutes or something like that. Just so that Ryan could go outside, get a chair, bring it in the ring. Rhino stops him, gets the chair, uses the chair, gets DQ'd, and that's the finish. So, did you like the finish?
I mean, it's set up for what was coming later.
Well, I can't wait to get to that. So let's go. Next is Jordan Grace with Gia and no music underneath. She basically says that she is a new Jordan Grace, but Tessa Blanchard is the same old Tessa. I mean, she assumes. And then after this, the Rascals, which is now, and the Hardys, right? The Legends, the tag team champions, even. They come together to show how cringe can span generations in one of the worst promo segments you might ever see. It's what the sad thing is, it's 2025, and even if we just count 2025, this has heated competition for one of the worst things I've ever seen from people with experience. Also going back to like when earlier in the week when Edge and Chris Jericho ran into each other backstage on AEW and put out one of the worst backstage interactions ever. Did you end up seeing that on one of your watch-alongs?
Did not get a chance to catch that, I don't think.
It sucked. So I already cut a promo on that on the Wreckage. If you like to hear me bury those fat old Canadians. Well, Edge is not fat anymore, or ever. But if you want to hear me bury those guys, check out the Wreckage. But the Hardys and the Rascals working really hard to be the worst promo of 2025 already. It's going to be tough to top these guys this year. So, guys, keep sending in your submissions live on whatever platforms you're on. Nothing as big as Netflix, but I mean, AEW it's on Max, so you can watch this terrible cringe promo on the Max replay if you want. And then TNA you can find on whatever local Boston fucking affiliate that they said that they just got to deal with to show, that nobody knows because it's in one area of the country. Next, we have the lone bright spot on the show. I'm sorry, Brandon, did you have anything else to add about the... No? Let's just move it along.
No, Rams. Remember Ram? What did Ram stand for?
Some Jeff Hardy bullshit. I don't... I can't even... Matt Hardy had to tell us what GOAT stood for. And then Jeff Hardy said the Rams, which was another, I've already forgotten what it was. I should have wrote it down, but I was cringing too hard to see like my phone screen to make the notes. I was like, Yeah. Sucks. But this was the one bright spot on the show. It was Kushida versus Ace Austin for some reason. And despite the fact that there was no real reason for this to take place, uh, it was an excellent match, I think. Kushida continues to just like every time I look at the guys that he works with and the matches that they have, I'm like, well, the common denominator is Kushida. This guy really knows. He's not that flashy as far as like his personality. It's just, him dressing like Marty McFly is about the most flashiness that he has. And I like how his gear looks like the Barbie hoverboard, from Back to the Future 2. But other than that, yeah, he's got these good matches that probably nobody cares to watch or that means anything in the grand scheme of things. But it does end with the fold, and then afterwards, Ace Austin gets on the mic and gives a tribute to Chris Bay, and explains how Chris Bay has given him the blessing to pursue a singles run, and then he thinks that he should go for the main championship Dolph Ziggler has, and then Moose comes out, and Moose is like, you seem to be mistaken. You said you want to go for the top title, but you didn't mention the X Division title. And then Ace fires back up at him and hits him with some good lines and stuff like that. Like, I've already been the X Division champion. I'll take that belt away from you right now. And then Santino comes out and says, this match is going to happen, but it's going to happen at Genesis. So we've got a match at Genesis. Interesting to see how that match will go. We've seen Kushida work both these guys. Now let's see them work each other to see what kind of match that they have. Brandon, what were your thoughts on this overall from the match itself to this booking right into a pay-per-view?
I mean, it's Ace and Kushida. They're going to have a good match with each other. Where they could go with this is Ace could use this as, again, he said his goal was for the TNA World title. Okay, get the X Division title, invoke option C.
Would you do that? Because Moose is once again in the middle of trying to establish something. So are we going to put the brakes on that like management always does for him?
I would make that the storyline of what Ace Austin wants to do. And when the match comes, Moose goes over.
Gotcha.
Where he's like, nope, fuck that option C shit. This is the title. I'm establishing this as the title.
All right. I can see that.
And basically, that's kind of like, since Moose beats, or they could add the stipulation, like that's the end of option C.
Interesting. I think option C is so rarely used that I kind of like having it, but then again, if it's so rarely used, can you miss it? I don't know. And since anybody can just walk around and demand whatever they want, including win matches that have nothing to do with them happen on the card, you probably don't need option C. You could just
right. And plus, you're doing a storyline where Moose is trying to establish the X Division title as the main title. So why not do a storyline where you have him be the one who abolishes option C altogether?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what they do with that. What they're gonna do next though is they're gonna have Burt Macklin, Eric Young, and Jonathan Gresham, who are all pissed off. I think Burt is the most pissed off. Eric is trying to be like, hey, don't be that pissed off. And then Jonathan Gresham comes in and they're like, aren't you pissed off? And he's like, well, yeah, but but calm down, So we have like, a three bears, Goldilocks and the Three Bears level of pissed off, One is hot pissed off, one is cold pissed off, and the other one's just right pissed off. That'd be Eric Young.
This one's pissed off just right.
Yeah, just right. Eric Young. He's right in the middle there. And then the system walks in front of him. And they're like, get a load of these pissed off guys. And then they get their fucking asses kicked by the 3 pissed off guys. So you can imagine. You can imagine how they go. Their system wasn't pissed off really at all. So they just got swarmed. And then we show Jordan Grace sitting. She's got a chair set up by the ramp coming up from the parking lot. So she's clearly monitoring the arrival station in case same old Tessa shows up. Randomly, a time filler. You think Raw's filling time on Netflix right now. How about let's just go back to a moment from 2017 in a triple threat match with the Hardys versus Decay versus the DCC, which I don't even remember existing, but apparently it was Eddie Kingston and Bram.
And James Storm.
Yeah, what were they called? Like, what does the DCC mean?
I forgot, but I think it was originally supposed to be something like them going after Billy Corgan, but then like that whole thing was dropped.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that. Like, even a little bit. I was like, is that Eddie Kingston? Is that another Fat Eddie in there? Like, yeah, that sure is.
When the current Fat Eddie was not so Fat Eddie.
Yeah. I was back when he wrestled without a shirt. And speaking of without a shirt, like Tom Latimer looking good. He's still looking good. Isn't he the NWA champion right now, or is it EC3, or I don't know who? It's one of these guys, but
I think
he's doing big things.
I think it might actually be Tom Latimer. He talked about listening to him, or EC3 did, I think.
Yeah. See, I see a lot of EC3 stuff on my timeline where he's still got a belt, and it could just be old, you know. But I thought Tom Latimer was currently the champion. But he's looking. Gam says the Death Crew Council. That's so bad. That's like what a junior high student would name a faction if they were booking fantasy wrestling online. So in that sense, that must mean that Tony Khan came up with the Death Crew Council. Because he was probably booking it back then.
Dixie Carter hired him as a consultant.
Dixie Carter Council?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
That's actually a better name than Death Crew Council, though.
Yeah, and to be fair, yeah, and it would actually make sense as far as like in that universe.
Couldn't you see some emo kid in high school like with a binder, just like stenciling Death Crew Council on it? Nobody understands me, man. Yeah, there's a reason for that. All right, so speaking of emotional, Ryan is now he's on the trainer's table being looked at from the chair shot, and he's complaining to the camera as he's being worked on. Like it's like a fourth wall thing where the trainer is like checking on him, and he's cutting a whiny promo to the camera. And he says, "Wait till my big brother hears about this." And then wouldn't you know who walks up but his big brother. And then he starts whining at Dolph, and then Rhino comes in, and he hears about it, and he's like, "Hey, I'll kick your ass again, and I'll kick your ass too, big brother." And then Santino comes in and says, "Hey, hey, hey." And then Joe Hendry comes in and says, because Santino wants to make a tag team match between the Zigglers and Rhino and some other partner. So Joe Hendry walks up and says, "I'll be the partner." So we got a nice little thing here. How'd you enjoy this one?
I thought it was all right, but it was very conveniently set up.
Oh, it's so convenient. We got to move things along here, pal. Let's make it snappy. Because after we got to move things along after we show the 2017 triple threat tag team, gotta do that. Santana comes through the crowd. He's going to get in the ring and get on a mic and speak from the heart. He's got Josh's headgear. Apparently that's a thing. Everybody just likes to take Josh's headgear now and carry it with them for a while. and he just lets him. Speaking of which, the Northern Armory comes out, and I noticed that it was important that you take the headgear from Josh because he's got a new tattoo on the base of his skull. So like if he were wearing his headgear, you wouldn't be able to see it as well. So now, you can enjoy his new base of skull tattoo. He basically on the mic lays out how Santana sucks. And I know I'm like really glossing over that, but I do want to point out that I thought Josh Alexander did a good promo, and he said things in the promo that made it sound like, why would I cheer for Mike Santana? Because he sounds like a punk, and Josh Alexander sounds cool. So, yeah. And Santana comes back with, this was kind of like, you know what, speaking of punk, I didn't mean to do this. That was not like that wasn't a pun intended type of thing, but this was kind of like a Punk and Rollins in the sense that Josh Alexander ate him alive by telling the truth, and all Mike Santana had to come back with was like, you're sucking up and kissing the ass of the guy with the pencil, which again, insider terminology, also implying that wrestling is fake, and also doesn't really mean anything. So, and he says he has a bald ass head, which again, like, yeah, this is wrestling in 2025. Everybody's a bald white guy with a beard. That's why Liz and I cancel our New Japan subscriptions. It's just like, we don't want to see that. We don't need any more of that, but certainly being bald does not mean what it used to mean. Everybody's embracing that because we're all losing our hair. But anyways, that was Santana's weak comeback. And then, that's it. I mean, did they even fight? I don't remember.
No physicality.
Yeah, no physicality. There was a no physicality clause in the contract. So there you go. What did you think of the promo face-off between, the guy that supposedly has no charisma destroying Mike Santana here and making it seem like the Northern Armory are the baby faces?
No, I've really felt that Josh has really turned it up to gone to his next level with this heel character, as far as like promo wise, character wise. And yeah, when you put it that way, Santana did come off a little. His charisma had to carry him because pretty much his verbiage and where he's coming from didn't really hold a lot of water compared to what Josh was saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you gotta look, I never had to do like one of these things, like where you go out in the middle of the ring and do a WWE style, we gotta have a promo face off. But if I ever had, I would certainly keep in mind like who's supposed to be over and who's not. Like, even if I'm as a heel, even if I could completely destroy the babyface, again, just by telling the truth, maybe I'm going to keep some of those bullets in the chamber because I don't want to, because the business is not for me to be the one that gets over. So the bullets that I fire, they're going to be like flesh wounds, like straight through, in and out, like non-lethal areas, clip the arm, clip the leg, nothing, no major arteries, no bones, just graze them with the bullets so that they can get over, and I talk about those things beforehand, like, okay, I'm going to say this and this, you have a problem with that, okay, what are you going to say? And then if I could give them something, if I was Josh Alexander and I could have given Santana something better to use, I would have. That's how I would do it. I don't know how these guys do it. I don't know if they just go out there and just be like, whatever. I don't know. So it's up to them. But Josh Alexander got over here. Santana looked whack. That's my takeaway. And I also wanted to ask you a question too, because I don't remember. Again, I wasn't really dialed in. In fact, I think I was completely unplugged from Impact when the North had their run. Did Josh Alexander ever do promos like this in the North? Or was he just like a silent wrestler guy and let Ethan Page do all the talking?
I personally never saw the North, so I can't comment on it, but
Okay. Maybe the chat. Maybe the chat would anybody in the chat would remember what was Josh Alexander like when he was in the tag team,
yeah,
which he referenced in the promo.
all I remember is when he was X Division champion, and then cashed it in, beat Christian Cage, and then everything from then on.
Got it. Well, Santino is going to come and relieve Jordan Grace of her parking lot security duties, so that she can go have her match, which is the main event, as it should be, according to her. And he sets up a security guard there to sit in her folding chair and watch the ramp. So apparently, Labra says he was just a wrestler. Okay. No promos, no. Okay. So apparently Tessa Blanchard, I don't know her status with this company, because if Santino is setting up security to keep her from getting in the building, does she work there or not? I don't know. Like, they're not making that clear. Or is security just there to greet her? Like, oh, okay, you're here now. So we can let everybody know you're here so you can't sneak up on them. Like, I don't know if that's the protocol for like, what is the point of this is what I'm trying to say. Like, I can understand Jordan Grace being like, I'm going to sit here because I don't trust you and I think you're going to try to jump me. So I'm going to be here. And the only entrance into the building, which that can't be, it can't be the only entrance into the building, the parking lot ramp, but whatever. Like, let's not think about that. Let's just think about her motivation in the first place. She's only one person. She can only monitor one exit. But like, if Santino's going to come in and be like, don't worry, I got it from here, I'll watch out for Tessa Blanchard. What is that supposed to mean? Like, is she not signed or what?
They would have to have explained it, but I would have to assume maybe so, just to, like, when she arrives, make sure she doesn't get involved in that main event match.
Fair enough. But I mean, Jordan was sitting there the whole show, so like, she couldn't have gotten involved if she showed up earlier when Jordan was sitting there. Anyways, maybe we shouldn't think about it too much. We don't need to pad out the show like they did with the 2017 triple threat tag team match, footage. We can go to the part where King Kazarian tells Leon Slater that he's a good kid and he has it. And he just needs some guidance, and if he wants to, learn from the best, and Slater seems keen on the idea. Like, yeah, sure. What are you thinking? And he's like, well, my trophy's a little heavy, so like maybe you could carry it, and you can be my trophy bearer, and for a start. And Leon Slater's not interested in carrying stuff. Also, the boom mic drops into the shot. I don't know if that was meant to be comedic, but it happened. And after Leon Slater says no and walks away, JDC comes in and they have like a brother talk about, kids these days. They try to come up with a nickname for him. And wasn't very good, but it was better than the Death Crew Council, at least, whatever they came up with. The Future, Leon the Future Slater, I think it was JDC's idea for a nickname. So anyway,
and the joke was like Frankie Kazarian said that'll never get over, when he was actually called that at one point.
Mm-hmm. Right. Ha 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 ha. Very good. Another home run from Mr. Bet on Yourself. So yeah, but at least in all this was like one of the less cringe and less business exposing segments, which Frankie Kazarian loves exposing the business, and it still did it less than, perhaps Ryan Ziegler or, uh, you know, who was the other person that exposed the business? Santana.
Mr. Kowalski guy.
Yeah. So did you like it?
It was alright. I mean, it obviously sets something up between Slater and Kazarian.
Yeah, can't wait. Then we get Dolph Ziggler come out to not to the ring, just to the ramp. He just comes out to the ramp. That's as far as he wants to go, the entrance, and then he does his promo, and then here comes Ryan Ziegler again. So now we got the third on camera for Ryan Ziegler, and even Dolph can't take this anymore, and he leaves. So that kind of gives you an indication of how everybody feels about all this.
No one likes Ryan.
Parking lot security is down. They are down. I repeat, they are down. We need medical help for the guy that was left to watch the parking lot ramp. And then we have our main event. It's the team that totally makes sense of the Elegance twins, Rosemary and Tasha Steelz. It's just like, well, these are our heels. This is who we got. You're an 8-person, and then their opponents.
Correct me if I'm wrong. When last time Rosemary's interacting with Ash, she was kind of stalking her and going after the concierge, right? Like almost trying to kill him.
She had a knife.
I remember her chasing him to the back with a knife.
She had a knife. I guess they talked about it off camera, nowhere on the show. So they're taking on Spitfire, Jordan Grace, and Masha Slamovich. Okay, that's your main event. I'll give you 3 guesses if I really watch this. You probably don't need 2 of the guesses. But I at least saw that Masha pinned Tasha after the Requiem, which is her short pile driver that she likes to do. But that's not the main point. The main point is that as the baby faces are celebrating, Tessa attacks Jordan Grace, and everybody, the other 3 just look at her, and then like, what are you, Stephanie Vaquer? What are you, Julia? Don't just look at her. And then so she goes off there.
Hey,
yeah,
hey, you're standing there. You're standing there.
Yeah. What are you, a smart ass? So she beats up Jordan Grace, and then the other heels like come back to life and start fighting the other people. So that means that Rosemary's gonna mist Masha Slamovich, and then as the Elegance twins are gonna hold up the tag belts like, hey, look what we got. Wouldn't this look good on us? Wouldn't this be elegant? And while that's going on, Tessa has dragged Jordan Grace to the back, choked her with what I presume was her bag, like her gear bag strap, and then chokes her with that strap, and then drags her all the way down the ramp with the bag strap by the neck, drags her down the ramp, throws her out the door and like into the parking lot, that same parking lot she was guarding at the start of the show, and then closed the rolling door. I was like, get out of here. And then she walks back, and all the production, you can see all the production people that had like the lighting set up right there. Like it completely exposes this whole, like, if you want to set up that this is like spontaneous, like this all just happened or whatever, but then you got the guy with the floodlight right there. It's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is wrong with these people, dude? Why does TNA exist still? It's so fucking terrible at everything. God damn it. God damn it. The gloves are off in 2025, man. I've been diplomatic enough. I'm getting tired. I've got a full beard. Okay? I'm not holding back anymore. If you're gonna bother putting on a production, you better fucking be absolutely perfect, or I am gonna tear you apart. That's my New Year's resolution. Fucking Marks. God, I feel like Frankie Kazarian. It's fucking Marks. So there you go. The wrestler that may or may not work there or whatever, but does get the full like set dressing treatment for her dragging of a person, out of the building. That's how we go off the air. So any closing thoughts? Any closing thoughts on the episode? Did you like the drag?
I mean, I didn't think it was a bad angle and a bad idea. It was just, it could have been executed and pulled off a lot better. Like the idea that they actually had something threaded throughout the show, it just, the execution and how they pulled it off could have went way better.
Did you think about that when she went back through the way she came and you saw all those people there with all the lighting and stuff?
Well, I mean, yeah, cut all that out. I mean, come on. Yeah, that needs to be cut out. Yeah, obviously.
And we're still getting lights. Like, I just don't mention it. But, like, they're still setting up those RGBs in the backgrounds of shit. And just looking JoJo, So hashtag turn off the lights is still valid on any given week. I'm just tired of bringing it up, The good news is we got Moose in, well, it would have been a 3-piece suit if he had the jacket on, but he didn't have the jacket, so it's still just a 2-piece with the vest. So he looked very nice and professional, even though he wears Jordans with his suits, but that's kind of the system's thing.
It's a Moose thing.
Yeah,
you wouldn't get it.
Stylistic choice, so I understand. But yeah, still looks like the only actual professional wrestler on the whole show. Ace Austin held his own in that thing. I liked the back and forth between them. If you're doing pro wrestling, like that was the thing. This other sports entertainment shit, like with the Tessa Blanchard shit and with the cringe ass vignettes, like with the Hardys and everything Ryan Ziegler was doing to get heat, which was, I guess it worked because I hate him, but I don't know if it's gonna be. It's not like Dirty Dom or anything. It's not like that. It's just really, really annoying. So I guess he's a good heel. I guess I don't know, but yeah. So between Moose and Ace and Josh Alexander's promo, like those were the two kind of good things on the show. And of course the Asa Kushida match itself that whole segment was good, but that's people trying to work with, that's them making lemonade and chicken salad. So all credit due to the talent, very little credit due to the management. So yeah, do you have anything that could possibly punch this shit up?
I do, and I do want to apologize ahead of time. This one might not be. Let's just say I was very, very under the wire this week with a lot of personal and work stuff with weather hitting and.
No need to apologize. Yeah. I mean, just think, you wrote this for fun. TNA put their show out like that, so don't worry about apologizing to us.
All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Where did I put that thing? Hang on one second. I started off with the ketchup packet.
Delicious.
And then we go intro pyro ballyhoo, announce table, rundown card for tonight, talk about recent events, give their thoughts. In ring, Joe Hendry, Ryan Nemeth. Joe Hendry, music and entrance, scene promos on the show. Ryan Nemeth, music and entrance, same promos on the show. Joe Hendry brings out Rhino for the match with Ryan. Rhino, music and entrance, Rhino versus Ryan Nemeth. 3 minutes, same matches on the show. We go backstage to Gia and Jordan, same as on the show, with Jordan saying she'll make sure Tessa doesn't make it inside the building. Go to our first commercial break. We go backstage, come back to backstage to the back entrance. Jordan is sitting and waiting. Masha asks if Jordan wants assistance. Jordan says she'll handle this herself. Backstage, Hardys and Rascals. We do
Less
a promo,
cringe
but
version.
yeah, much better version than what we got. And it ends with both teams inviting each other to the treehouse and a Hardy compound, which is basically like the next 2 weeks build. Like we got the Hardys go to the treehouse, Rascals go to the compound because it's a friendly build, so they don't have to have matches with each other. And plus, they got those creative, plot devices you can work with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then match 2, Ace Austin versus Kushida. Kushida music and entrance, Ace Austin music and entrance. Condensed version of match on the show. Ace cut same promo as on the show. Moose music and entrance, same Moose promo. Santino music and entrance. Santino books Moose versus Ace for Genesis. Parking lot, Nick Nemeth and JBL. JBL's limo arrives and he and Nick exit it. Commercial break 2. Backstage, Ryan Nemeth, Nick Nemeth, JBL, Rhino, Joe Hendry, Santino. Ryan approaches Nick and JBL and tells them about what happened with Rhino. Rhino shows up and they begin arguing. Joe Hendry steps in and Santino books Ryan and Nick versus Joe and Rhino for next week. Hendry tells JBL that he doesn't trust him. Backstage, Macklin, Young, Gresham, the system, same as on the show. Match number 3. This is something, too. I actually added this match. If I did not add this match, we only had 3 matches on this show. Jake Something and Alexander Hammerstone versus PCO and Sami Callihan. Jake Something and Alexander Hammerstone music and entrance. Sami Callihan music and entrance. PCO music and entrance. Jake Something and Alexander over after miscommunication by PCO and Sami Callihan turns heel and attacks PCO. We go backstage to Joe Hendry where he's laid out while the camera person calls for help. Commercial break number 3, trainer's room, Joe Hendry and Santino. Joe is getting checked out. Santino asks who attacked him. Joe says it came from behind. He didn't see who it was. Santino says he'll get the security footage. In ring, Santana and Northern Armory, same as on the show. We go to the back door. Jordan Grace, Massa, and Spitfire, same as on the show, with Jordan's teammates telling her it's time to get ready for their match, and Santino having something stand on guard. As Santino and the women leave, a car pulls up. We go backstage to the System's locker room. Moose asks the rest of the System if they're going to take the disrespect that they've been shown tonight from Ace, Macklin, Young, and Gresham. Moose tells Alicia to make sure that Tasha and her team win later before he and the men of the System head to the ring. Commercial break number 4, we go in-ring the System music and entrance. Moose calls out Ace, Macklin, Young, and Gresham and says that he and the rest of the System don't put up with that disrespect. Moose calls the 4 of them out. Ace Austin music and entrance with Macklin, Young, and Gresham. Quick Ace promo about why should they talk about it when they can fight. Brawl ensues. Santino music and entrance with security after they're brawling for a bit. Brawl gets broken up and Santino books the System versus Ace, Macklin, Young, and Gresham for next week. We go trainer's room, Joe Hendry and Nick Nemeth. He's still being checked on. Nick tells Joe he doesn't know what happened and is helping find out who attacked him. Announcers say that something is happening backstage. You go to the back door. Someone gets the attention of a camera person and tells them to see what happened at the back door. And the security guard is laid out and the car that pulled up earlier is still there. Match number 4, the 8-women knockouts tag team match. Ashton Heather by Elegance music and entrance with Concierge. Tasha Steele music and entrance. Rosemary music and entrance. Jordan Grace music and entrance. Spitfire music and entrance. Masha Slamovich music and entrance. Condensed version of match on the show with the addition of Alicia getting involved. After Jordan is thrown out, Alicia and Tasha, again, this after the match, happens and Jordan is thrown out, Alicia and Tasha extend their hands to Tessa. We go to our 5th and final commercial break. New Japan hype video. We go backstage to the Systems locker room and they welcome Tessa to the group. And Moose says that with her on board, it's only a matter of time before they hold all of the gold in TNA. Pre-tape, Frankie Kazarian and Leon Slater, same as on the show. Go to the announce table, rundown current Genesis card, rundown card for next week. We go backstage to Santino's office. He turns the TV screen off before the viewer has a chance to see what was on it. Santino tells Hendry that he'll handle things on his end as well as the backup. And Hendry says he'll do things on his end. We go to the in-ring, Nick Nemeth, JBL, Joe Hendry, Ryan Nemeth, and Santino. Nick Nemeth music and entrance with JBL. Condensed version of promo on the show, but with JBL. Ryan Nemeth out to cut condensed version of his promo while also mentioning the attack on Joe Hendry. Video begins playing on the big screen of Nick Nemeth, Ryan Nemeth, and JBL attacking Joe Hendry and laying him out backstage. They're slightly surprised that they got caught, but they admit it. Joe Hendry music and entrance while wielding a chair. Stare down between them. with Joe approaching the ring. A Rhino runs in from the crowd, hits a gore on Ryan while Joe jumps in the ring. Joe Hendry and Rhino clear heels from the ring and stand tall to close the show.
Wow. Did you breathe during that? I couldn't. I couldn't hear. Yeah, I would. Well, my main note on that would be, as long as we're condensing stuff, we need to condense some of those women's entrances too, because I don't need to see all of them walk out. None of them have a worthy entrance, so we'll let them do some of them entrances in the break. How about that? But other than that,
or like have like the most over, one on each team. Like, okay, we go up to their entrance and everybody comes out with them.
Yeah, let's do that. Anything but all 8 entrances. To be fair, it would really only be 6, right? Like you had 2 tag teams, right? So. But all right. Well, there you go. You got your alternate universe TNA episode, and you got a breakdown of the actual TNA episode. Which one is more preferable? You decide, as always. But I think I know what the smart answer is.
The alternate universe version has 20% more moose.
That's right. And that's why it's always the safe pick. So, well, that just about wraps it up for the TNA coverage this week. We're marching towards Genesis, which will be in a couple of weeks. They're actually having it on a Sunday night, weirdly, this time.
Yeah, I don't remember if it's the 19th or the 26th.
It's the 19th. I actually know this time. Usually I don't pay attention, but this time it stuck out to me because it was on a Sunday, and I was like, what? So anyway, look forward to that. But that's down the road, and we're here now. And if you want to see where you could get a hold of us on the road to Genesis, then we'll tell you. Brandon, where can the people find you?
As always, you can catch me on Twitter, or as the kids call it these days, the X at LG Brandon Whoop. I'm also doing Twitch streams at twitch.tv/LG Brandon Whoop Whoop, guaranteed every Wednesday night following the HMG AEW watch along. Let's see what else we got going on. Let's see. Tomorrow night, I think we got HMG After Dark. I think we're going to be doing TNA pay-per-view number 5, as long as that's available on YouTube. And then Thursday, not sure what we're doing that night. And then Friday will be a late start of the SmackDown watch along, because I gotta get the work in. I'm sorry. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a 3-hour show. We started probably about 2 hours in. And then Saturday, that's kind of a toss up, either HMG After Dark or the TNA replay watch along. And whatever you don't do that night, we're doing Sunday night.
Gotcha. Well, you can find me at Opinion Haver everywhere. You can find me on HMG for the Next Level Wrestling Review of Big Ray Hernandez every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Talk about NXT. Well, you can find me every Sunday for The Wreckage with Jimmy T, and that's also at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. We talk about an entire week of AEW. And then you got what do you call it? Okay, so we like to talk about the affiliates. We got Wrestler with Rip Rogers is it's live at their normal Concrete time, except that I believe this week it is Thursday at their Concrete time of 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Thursday, not Friday, Thursday. So this week only, Thursday. And then after that, back to normal time. What is on Friday is the Stevie Richards Show. Stevie's on his new content drops on Friday. He's doing an excellent job with his stuff over there. All of his stuff is unique. So you're definitely going to want to check out Stevie. But that pretty much, everything else, you guys are on your own. Find it yourself. But that should pretty much wrap us up for this week. So for Brandon, I'm the vet, and I don't have a sign-off line.
One last thing I forgot to mention, in about 10 minutes, we'll be right back on the HMG YouTube channel to finish out Raw. We'll be picking up at the Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley match and going through that at 1.25 times speed.
All right. Well, there you have it. So, with that being said, I still don't have a sign-off line.